Show a little gratitude for everything that you do all day. I mean, relationships are fucking hard. All the stuff that you have to do. If you're single sitting on the couch is fine for you. You don't have to do much. But in a relationship, there's, you gotta make sure you do your part. You gotta make sure you show them. You gotta make sure you do this and do that and do this. And then when you get a simple thank you or a hug, and acknowledging that you're doing this, it makes you feel a little bit better.
I love that you said that, because I saw something a while back. It says, once you're in a relationship, you think it's going to last forever, but in reality, it only lasts as long as you work for it.
So do you ever envy those so-called hashtag couples goals?
Well, when you first fall in love with someone, you get butterflies every time you see them.
You lust them.
You're infatuated with them.
You want to be with them all the time, like best friends.
Do you want that to last forever?
Together, let's discover what it takes to say a massive yes to all the above through our topical discussions, our world-renowned guests that will help guide the way to a happier, sexier, and fun-loving relationship.
We're not doctors or therapists. We are just two normal individuals who have had many ups and downs in our 23-year relationship.
And counting.
We've amassed our own wisdom over the years, but we're still learning, just like you.
Nina and I believe you can have it all and still live your best lives, as long as you're willingly and consistently discover each other in new ways. And that right there is what the show is all about.
We're Nina.
And Roger.
And this is the Head Over Heels Show.
Yeah, baby.
Feeling stuck in your relationship, unsure of how to deepen your connection with your partner? Do you find yourself struggling with communication or feeling like you're not being heard?
Absolutely, I do.
You do? Okay, well, great. Today, we are unlocking all the mysteries of relationships. How does that sound?
Sounds great. I can't wait.
We will share with you insight and strategies on a variety of topics, including effective communication, navigating conflict, building trust, and the best, fostering intimacy. You'll learn how to identify and break patterns that might be hindering your relationship, and how to create a strong foundation for a fulfilling and long-lasting connection. Whether you're in a romantic relationship, navigating family dynamics, or seeking to deepen your friendship connections, this podcast will provide you with the knowledge and tools to transform your relationships and bring more joy and fulfillment into your life.
My name is Roger, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Nina. And this is the Head Over Heels Show.
Yeah, baby.
Good little spiel. I love it.
Well, we've been doing this podcast for about a good 2.5 years now.
That long?
And I love the value that we are giving out. But I feel like most of the time, if we don't write things down, things just, go over our heads, and we end up babbling throughout the podcast episode.
Yeah, I've noticed a few episodes like that where we kind of just, we want to get a point across, and it's a very, maybe not a short point, but a small point. And we're just kind of dancing around and talking. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping.
For this way, by writing things down and correctly explaining them, I'm hoping that our audience can get a lot more value from these episodes, because let's face it, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
This is our life experience, our relationship that we've been gone through for 26 years. We want to bring it out to you in the most valuable way possible. And I personally, after doing a lot of research and learning and hearing other professionals that do podcasts for a long time, they all say, write down your thoughts and go over them. That way you're more effective. That way you're right on the point. So we're starting that today.
Perfect.
Today, I wrote down 7 different strategies for you to navigate through your relationship to make it a beautiful one. Because why not? Everyone deserves to live happy and in a loving and fun relationship.
Absolutely.
Like we do.
Absolutely. You want to get right to the point, or you want to chat?
I do, but I also want to quickly say this, like, what brought this on to us? It was, we recently did a quick, spontaneous getaway that we were just like, you know what? It's like, what do you want to do for the weekend? I'm like, I want to get out of the city. I want to get out of the country for that matter. So we took a short flight. We went to this beautiful quick resort and just...
It was one of those things where Friday morning I was jogging with my dog, and Friday eve, not knowing that I'm going to be anywhere but home. I'm planning my day. And then by the evening, we were on a plane.
Yeah, we were having a great time because we needed this.
Yes.
Our job, we're 24 hours, our business. We have two beautiful teenagers that, God help me, they take a lot of energy from us. And I wanted to get away from the socials as well, from the tech, from all of it. So this was just something to calm us down. And
social's been a little bit hard for the past maybe month or so. For some reason, we tend to, the more and more we concentrate on our business on social media, whether it's real estate, podcast, or anything else, the more time we have to spend on it. And then it just gets to your brain. Like,
it does.
People love to say shit that just kind of gets to your brain. And then, you want to just brush it off. But after the 400th time, it's like, okay.
And this is exactly why we took off. We took off about a good week off all the socials, all the tech, and just to sort of regroup our thoughts. And this did us a very, very good because, you're off social and you're actually interacting with real human beings. So we met so many amazing people, so many amazing couples on this quick getaway. And what struck me was the questions that these people were asking us. The minute they'd find out that Raj and I had been together for almost 26 years and married for 20 years this year, because let's face it, I scream this shit from top of my lungs to everybody I see. Yes, I'm with my husband, with my best friend for 5 years. This is our 20th year anniversary, wedding anniversary. So naturally, when you meet people, these things come out.
Yeah.
And
especially the way they see us. I mean, we tend to be, for lack of a better word, all over each other all the time.
Bubbly, fun.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
exactly. So then people see that and they're like, oh, I thought you guys just got together or whatever. So yeah, anyways.
So long story short, I came up with all these 7 steps just to help you understand why we've been together for so long and how to answer some of the questions that were asked. Some of the questions were like, how do you communicate so well together? How do you keep it fun? What's the secret? Do you guys not kill each other? Do you ever argue? I mean, these are all valid questions and concerns of people that they want to know how to do this relationship, just like everything else. If you want to learn something, you got to go to the best or to the person that has done it better than you, or, that are longer in the game.
Or no, if you sit there and with me, the way I work out, if I'm going to choose a trainer that's going to train me, I want to choose somebody that has a body like I want. You know what I mean? Not somebody that is going to tell me to get that body, but they don't have it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. You look at what they have and say, okay, well, I like what you've done for yourself. Can you help me do the same? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's one of those things. It's like you just gotta look at what if you're talking about relationships, look at who you want your relationship to be, what you think is possible for you, and if you see other people doing having the relationship that you want, then find out how they do it.
Yeah,
it's no different than us in real estate. We did the same thing. We wanted a certain type of business. There's people that have massive teams and all that stuff. I could have followed them, but that's not the business I wanted. I wanted a business like we have. So we followed and created and what's the word? Mirrored and matched the things that people did that had the type of business.
Absolutely. Because you attract who you are in everything you do, in business, in relationship and everything. So whatever you want, whatever is in your head, you attract it. So if you're one of those people that are asking us constantly how you do it, so I'm hoping that you're listening. I'm hoping you're taking some notes because this is very important. Yeah. A lot of the things I'm going to mention on this podcast are the things that we've gone through, things that we've perfected. I mean, we've gone through ups and downs and errors to make sure.
And not all of them in bed.
Some of them in the water, some of them on the plane, on the couch. I mean, everywhere. But that's how we did it. And I'm hoping that you get a pen and paper and you start writing things down or, just keep listening to this podcast and really listen because, and actually that's one of the points that I'm going to talk to you about today is really listen, effective listening It's really important.
Well, don't get into points. Let's
No,
get right into it.
Yeah. So you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So some of the strategies and insight that I've wrote down to unlocking the mysteries of a relationship are, number one, you ready? Drum roll. Practice active listening.
What?
Surprise, surprise.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Whether you like it or not, see that? You don't even listen. Whether you like it or not, we're not always listening, especially to our partners. We get in tune, we get immune to other things that they're saying. Sometimes I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, and I can see that your brain is totally somewhere else. You're really looking at my lips, see what I'm saying, but it's going from one ear to the other.
But I think sometimes I need like point forms. It's all that fluff in between that you lose me, and like, all right, and I'm lost. And then you get to another point. I'm like, oh shit, what did you say before? Like, what was the thing you said before? Because I want to understand this point because I don't understand where you started.
See?
So, yeah.
Listening is an essential component for an effective communication, you guys.
And keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And if you're actively listening to your partner, it can help you build a stronger connection. When your partner is speaking, focus on what they are saying and avoid interruption or dismissing their thoughts and feelings. Acknowledge their perspective and show empathy by reflecting back on what they've said and maybe even repeat it. Do you see where that's coming from?
Yeah. Well, another thing we learned in real estate was repeat and affirm, and that helps you remember and listen. So when they say something, oh, you weren't feeling sick yesterday and you had a sore stomach. Okay, well, how do you feel today?
and not just do it in a good conversation. Do it in all the conversation. Even if you're arguing, if you're fighting, do that. Mirror and match what they're saying. And you're going to see the level of communication going down. If you're screaming, yelling at each other, and one is just screaming, the other one's just nodding their head, do me a favor. Try this for a change. Turn around and repeat what your husband said or your wife. What the fuck do you think you're doing? And you turn around and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, repeat what they're saying. You're going to shock them. Because if you're that kind of person that you're used to not listening to them, once you do that, they'll be like, whoa. Is this the same person? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's a great way of having effective communication.
There you go.
How was that for you?
Very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You listening?
I think so. I think I listened.
All right. So we're going to go to point number 2. Point number 2 is create shared experiences. We just did that. We got away. It was incredible. Okay, guys? By creating shared experiences with your partner can help you build a stronger connection and positive memories together. This 100% is true because we just did it and it was incredible. It was something different that we hadn't done before, and it just got us talking about it for weeks after that.
Well, we do this kind of stuff all the time. We do spontaneous stuff all the time. And a lot of it has to do with the way our business is and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you sit there like, oh, I can't book, a trip December 30th because I don't know what's going to happen around that time. I got to get a little closer to that time and see how my business is and see if I can escape. So this is what keeps us from really planning stuff. But I'll be honest, I really love those spontaneous little getaways. Boom, you're gone and you're back.
I think it's so important for every couple to do it, even if it's just a staycation, even if it's just call your parents and come stay over my kids and just go get a hotel room or a motel or something cheap anywhere you are and see what that does to your relationship.
Even if it's just dinner. Even if it's just like going out to lunch or dinner. Meetings, going up and, what
breakfast.
Do you do?
Not just lunch, dinner, breakfast.
Yeah, but if you're, you both work separately and you're able to do so, you just kind of like, you want to go for lunch? Meet me here. You know what I mean?
Even if it's not that, this could be as simple as, taking a walk together or trying out a new hobby together. Find something that you both can enjoy and make it a regular habit.
Yep.
Like us, we've made the getaway a regular habit. We do it every few months. Do that as well. That will really help you out.
All right. What do you got for number 3?
Next is communicate openly. Open and honest communication is essential for fostering intimacy. Make sure to share your thoughts and feelings with your partner and be open to hearing their perspective as well. A lot of times we think we're communicating, we're talking, but you're talking and I can't wait to say my point.
Mm-hmm.
So the communication is really not there.
Yeah, yeah.
What
So
I'm
it goes
saying
with the
here,
one before. Listen and yeah.
absolutely. But also show physical affection, not just, verbal. Hug your partner, kiss them,
body
hold them.
communication.
Yeah, those are different kind of communication. Sometimes we're not talking to you and I all day because we're working. I'm upstairs, you're downstairs, we're working, and you'll be on the phone, you'll be doing something. I'll come and hug you from the back. That's just my way of saying I'm here. I love you. Thank you. Like, just be there for them.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. There was somebody we were talking to a while back. I can't remember at all who it was, what the situation was. But I remember her randomly saying something to her husband. And I just kind of looked at it. And she said, every once in a while, a man's got to be reassured.
Absolutely.
And I thought about it. I'm like, you're 100% right. Because you know what? I see it all the time. It doesn't matter what a woman looks like. Big, small, short, whatever it is. They're going to get hit on all the time. They're going to get men trying to, talk to them or whatever, or get their attention. And guys don't really get that much. So, but it's not just about guys don't really get it that much, but you want to make sure that you're reassuring them that they're safe in the relationship. Yeah, you're getting a lot of attention, but don't worry, you're safe. I want you. The way, and it was the way she had said it that was perfect. And I'm like, you're exactly 1,000,000% right. He's got to get reassured.
And also, I believe the emphasis on the feelings, and it's always on a woman. Woman has the feeling. Woman feels this way. Well, what about men? Men have feelings as well. We find because you're the masculine and feminine energy, we automatically think he's a man. He doesn't need that. Well, no, that's not true. Men need affection. Men need communication as well, just the same way as women do.
But and I was just going to say that actually for the guys out there, do the same thing. Reassure your spouse, your partner that you're there for them. You're there for only them. They're the only ones in your eyes. You know what I mean? All that stuff. Like,
but
make them
openly,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Make sure they know. Make sure that they know. I mean, you love it if I post something on Instagram saying how much I love you and all that stuff, and it brings a smile to face, gives you a little bit more reassurance. I mean, it doesn't have to be as public as that, but it's an example.
It is 100%. It could be as private as you want it to be. It's you. You do you, how you feel like. But these are just points to help you enhance the communication and your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Number 4 is practice gratitude. I can't put this on, say this more enough, because we think we've been together for so long. I'm grateful, you're grateful, yeah. But honestly, expressing gratitude towards your partner can do a wonder. Letting them know that you appreciate them, it will strengthen your connection.
And the things that they do for you, like when you cook spectacular meals, you do all this stuff, and I might not say it enough. I don't know if I do, but thank you for the great meal. Thank you. This was spectacular. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
It was great. You know what I mean? I know my kids do it all the time. I don't know if I do, but it's one of those things that you gotta kind of thank them for their work. And if your spouse is out there working, or if your wife is out there working all the time, and bringing you guys the benefits of life, thank them. Thank you for all your hard work. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just take
Actually, Tristan says that a lot. My son, he'll be like, gives me a hug. Thanks, Dad, for working so hard, and he'll leave.
He does it all the time.
Yeah, and I think,
I love that.
It motivates me to say, okay, well, I got to do a little bit more. I got to make sure that, I can't sit there and tell him, sorry, you can't have this because it's too expensive.
And what does that do for you in your heart when you hear that?
Yeah.
It makes you want to do more. So it's the same thing with your partner. When you acknowledge their greatness and you're grateful for that, it makes that your partner want to do more for you. Once you do more good things will come. And then it's just like what is that? It's like the domino effect. The more good you do, the more good will come. Mm-hmm. And this is part of building that strong, amazing relationship that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Just show a little gratitude for everything that you do all day. I mean, relationships are fucking hard. All the stuff that you have to do. If you're single sitting on the couch, sitting on a couch is fine for you. You don't have to do much. But in a relationship, there's, you gotta make sure you do your part. You gotta make sure you show them. You gotta make sure you do this and do that and do this. And then when you get a simple thank you or a hug, and acknowledging that you're doing this, it makes you feel a little bit better.
I love that you said that, because I saw something a while back. It says, once you're in a relationship, you think it's going to last forever, but in reality, it only lasts as long as you work for it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And not just one person. You both have to work at it in order for that relationship not to fall apart. Mm-hmm. It's 100% true. This goes both ways. So when you're communicating that to your partner, guess what? Your partner is going to do the same for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, domino effect. If you do something good, the good's going to come back to you.
Perfect. You want your husband to do dishes? You want your wife to do dishes? You go up behind him, you give him a nice big hug from behind. I mean, and if it's a guy, if you really want him to do dishes more often, I think I said this once before on the podcast, but if you really, really want your husband to do dishes, when they're doing dishes, just kind of reach up behind them, give them a nice big hug, and reach down, grab their junk, like not just a little bit. I mean, I want you to change the wrinkle pattern in it. Just kind of really give it and say thank you, and then walk away. They're going to be doing dishes for the rest of their lives.
We should videotape that, make an example of it, just show our audience how it's done.
The wrinkle pattern will be hard to get on camera, but anyway.
TikTok won't be very happy.
All right, next one, please.
Next one is prioritize quality time. Okay? This is, again, all of these points are extremely important. But in today's busy world, you guys, it is so easy to let distraction get in the way of spending quality time with your partner or with your loved ones. Make a conscious effort to prioritize quality time, whether it's through a date night, a weekend getaway like we just did, a simple unplugging from technology and spending time together. I'm saying this because we did this a whole week. We unplugged from all the technologies. We spent time together alone. We spent time together with our children, with our family. We were in the nature, out in the nature. And I'm telling you, I feel like I can conquer the world in the next at least 6 weeks.
There you go.
It re-energizes you. It puts so much into perspective in your life. It really, really, really does. So if you're struggling, take a moment and make this point a priority. Say, okay, what I need to do to consciously make effort to make it better in our relationship. And just fucking do it.
Well, what's funny is we went out just to do a little bit of shopping and hit a restaurant. The restaurant was just because we were hungry, and then did a little bit more shopping, that kind of stuff. And then we came home. Well, and we had some stops to do in between. Well, before I left, I said, I got to make sure my phone's charged. So I plugged it in, threw it on the couch, and got ready for the day. And then we left, and by the time we got to our first destination, I realized, shit, I don't have my phone on me. It's at home.
It's still on the charger at home?
Still on the charger at home. So I went probably a good 5 hours without my phone. It was a Sunday, so it wasn't too bad. But at the same time, like at first I was thinking about my phone all the time. Oh, what if I missed this call? What if I missed this? What if I missed that? But I found myself, when we're shopping, me and you were talking a lot more. When we sat down to eat, there was absolutely zero phones out for anything. I didn't have my phone out for anything, so we're just chatting and talking and looking at, the restaurant that we're at had a great system for their cooks and chefs, and we're looking at that, looking at the people around us. And I thought to myself, like, wow, like this day was so different than any other day that I've had in probably years.
Yeah.
Because,
it felt good.
I don't know how long it's been since we had these phones attached to our hips. It felt good. It felt different. It felt, it was just one of those things where I was like, maybe that's one idea is sit there on, a certain day. You sit there and throw your phone in a box. You're not allowed to touch it.
One day a week. I think that's so healthy.
Boom. But then do something like whether actually it doesn't matter if you're sitting on the couch, whatever you're doing, at least you're not stuck to a device.
No, you can do a lot when you don't have your phone in your hands.
Yeah.
A lot. Mentally, physically, in every way possible.
Mentally and physically. We call it mentally.
Mentally.
All right. So mentally, what's next on this?
Number 6 is practice forgiveness. You guys, we know people always ask us if we argue, if you fight. And I always say, in a relationship, arguing and fighting, it's a must. It's a must. It cannot be good all the time. If you put it this way, like, listen, did you ever argue with your parents? Did you ever argue with your siblings? Well, your partner is no different.
Yep.
If you want this to last forever, you got to argue with them because you're not going to agree on every fucking thing that you have together. You're two different people. No matter how compatible you are, no matter how close you are, no matter how much you love each other, you got to argue and fight. But you got to forgive. Forgive as fast as you can. I know that it's sometimes hard. When you're heated moments, the forgiveness is the last thing on your mind. But conflict is a natural part of any relationship.
Well, I always think that the forgiveness part, how I tend to accept it, is I sit there and I look, okay, what are we fighting about? What are we really fighting about? It's nothing. It's nothing. So, yeah, I can continue throwing my point across until I'm blue in the face, and you can do the same and show that, we're upset about it. But okay, you did, and now move on. And it was funny because your brother had come down a few weeks back. I don't remember when it was, but I just remember we were talking, and whatever he said got you and I starting to argue about something like normal argument, just friendly argument, kind of not friendly, but just regular argument. And he was like, no. He goes, you guys have the best relationship in the world. You never argue. Don't start because of me. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean we never argue? We argue all the time. Yeah. Like we argued 10 minutes before you got here.
It's funny how other people's perspective is about our relationship. Even our daughter says it. Doesn't she? She says, you guys argue on stupid things.
Yeah, she says we argue about stupid things. But I'm just saying, he was like, you guys never argue. I don't want you to argue. I'm like, we do. Of course we argue. If we didn't argue, I can't imagine what our relationship would be like if we didn't argue.
We argue, but we practice forgiveness right away because that's what's going to help you pass.
You practice forgiveness
move past,
over and over and over again.
Well, Roger is talking about a different kind of forgiveness.
I think
y'all know what I mean.
I think they do.
But when conflict arises, make sure to listen actively and empathetically to your partner's perspective, because a lot of times we do piss each other off by not listening or by saying something stupid to make the argument even worse when it's not. So avoid interrupting or dismissing their feelings, and instead focus on finding a common ground and working towards a solution together. If you need to, take a fucking break. If emotions are running high, it's important to take a break and come back to the issue when both of you and your partner are in a common collective. Like for instance, use the statement, I feel this way. Blame me, not you. And don't throw
a perfect example of that is I don't know if you guys ever heard of Landmark, but we've done Landmark before. And one thing that kind of taught us was to pay attention to your own story. Okay, so in terms of an argument, Nina's mad at me for something, or I'm mad at Nina for something. We can argue, but in the end, we sit there and say, okay, listen, here's my story of what happened. You did this because of this and this and this. And Nina can sit there and say, well, no, that's not at all the way it happened. I did this because I thought you wanted that to happen because of what you said the last time. So her story is going to be different. I was trying to think of an actual example, but I can't. But her story will be very much different than mine. And it doesn't mean that her story is wrong. It doesn't mean my story is wrong. It's just that where we went with the story was two different places, and it made us believe that you didn't want whatever it is, or you weren't on the same page.
Yes.
And it made us argue. But when you actually really think about it, her story that makes sense. That could have happened. My story, that makes sense. That could have happened.
So you're legit sharing your perspective because you don't know what the other person's perspective is. So you gotta know where they're coming from. You can't just jump into conclusion, make up your own story. Like, for example, when you're arguing, instead of saying, you never listen to me, switch it up. Say, I feel hurt when you don't listen to me. It's a lot of work. It takes practice. We didn't do this at the beginning of our relationship.
Well, it's not necessary.
But it takes practice by saying these things. Sometimes I want to jump at a conversation when we're arguing and say things, but I'm like,
well, that's the thing. So
how would I say it that he would take it the right way instead of me saying it and it comes out the wrong way? Because I don't mean it the wrong way, even though I want to kill you sometimes, but I need to calm down and say it effectively. Make sense?
Yeah. Well, like I said, when you're in a heated conversation, it's hard to do that because you're heated. You're going. So that's why sometimes, they take that little break, back off a little bit, think, put on your earphone buds or whatever. And then you just kind of think, okay, so now I'm going to go back and I say, this is what my story is. How am I going to explain my story? I'm going to go into part by part and say, okay, here's my story. Here's how I took this whole situation, blah, 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 blah. And then
the key is I.
Yeah.
The key is I.
It's your story.
Don't use the word
my
you.
story. This is how I seen this go. You tell me yours, and I'm like, oh, okay. So both ways could really, really make sense. Because when you tell your story, when you create your story in your head, there's no other way. There's no other way. It's only that way that could be, you're believing it to death. There's no other way. And it should, you hear the other thing. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just like in any argument. You talk to friends that are in an argument, let's say friends that are splitting up. You turn around, you hear her story. Oh my gosh, he did this. He's like this. He's like this. Blah, 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 blah. Then you go talk. Then you're convinced that person is like that. Then you go talk to the other person, and they tell you their story, and it's like, huh, okay, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to accept that from her either. I wouldn't. So I understand why you did. You know what I mean? So there's two sides of the story, and it makes you change your whole perspective. We can dig deep on this forever and ever and ever. So what's the next point on your thing?
Next point is building trust, because we all know without trust, relationships don't work. Mm-hmm. Be honest. Honesty and transparency are the key component to building a trust in a relationship. Be open and let your partner know everything that you're thinking, and avoid keeping secrets, because withholding information, that's when shit happens. There's like, okay, what else have you been holding from me? Even if it's a little white lie, it's very important to let your partner know it was just a white lie. You didn't mean nothing about it if it happened. But if it doesn't, avoid that. Yeah. And, follow through on your commitments. Consistently following through your commitment can help you build that trust. In a relationship, it's very important. A lot of the relationship I find that fail is because the foundation of trust wasn't there. And it's sad because it's so easy. Just be honest and transparent. It might not be easy to a lot of people, but it's really a simple formula.
It's easy because you're used to doing it for so long. And, I'm sure at the beginning, it was tough at the beginning. I mean, you would, let's say, not embellish stories, but you would, leave parts out of a story if you think it would upset me. And I would do the same thing to you.
White lies.
Yeah. Little white lies. Yeah. There was one instance we probably talked about on here, but a long time ago when we first started dating, I remember for some reason, I think we were saving up for a trip, and you had bought a pair of shorts and you had told me, oh, they're on sale. I bought them for $20. And then, by accident, you left the bag there, and I go to throw the bag out. I grab the receipt. Oh, you'll probably want this. And I look at it. It was $78. I'm like, well, why would you tell me $20?
It was just a stupid.
It was this was 100 years ago. But I just remember it in my head because we had a very long, heated conversation about this, about, the white lies. It's something that bothers me. And I'm sure I've had many, many occasions myself, but this is what stuck to me in my head for whatever reason. But
that was a key foundation in our relationship. That kind of stuck with me for the past 26 years. Every time I want to think of saying something that is not true to you, I think of that. I'm like, fuck, that almost killed me by making that stupid little white lie.
Because we had a very heated conversation about it. And I was like, okay, I don't understand. What else is she so easily able to lie about? You know what I mean? That was one of those things. I know you're not, you don't lie to me. I know you don't keep things from me, like big things. So by seeing that, it's a small thing, but what about the big things, man? It was so easy for her to lie to me about this. You know what I mean? So the trust thing is a huge thing. Just be forward, honest. You've been together for a long time, I'm assuming, if you're listening to this podcast or you're starting a relationship, whatever it is, but you want it to last a long time. This here will keep you from getting into the arguments that'll break up that relationship.
We've done all of these things. Luckily and gratefully, we've gone through all of these things through our relationship. So now we know how to navigating them. But by incorporating these insights and strategy into your relationship, you can navigate through conflict, build a great trust, and foster intimacy with your partner. I mean, isn't that what the relationship is all about anyway?
Yeah, baby.
This is it. These are the things that you need to cultivate a beautiful, long-lasting, fun relationship with your partner. Mm-hmm. One more thing I forgot to say, though, before we go. Learn to breathe in from your nose and breathe out from your mouth. No, seriously, this is a big deal. A lot of people don't know how to do this. once you learn this so simple but very effective technique, I honestly believe it will solve all of your fucking problems, whether it's in your relationships or any other way. Just deep breath in from the nose and out from the mouth.
Why did I hold my breath while you did that? Just so that it was just a weird thing. I just held my breath and watched you do it. So that I wasn't taking any of your breath away, I guess. I have no idea. That was weird.
Take your breath away?
I guess so.
There we go. There you have it. I hope this brings you a lot of value. This opens up your mind to, I'm sure you've done these things before, but sometimes you need a reminder if you're in a great long-term relationship. And if you're starting a new one, put these in the back of your mind. Go in with all these in you and bring it into your relationship, into your partner, and watch your life and your relationship flourish.
It's one of those things. You just look at your relationship and say, where are we struggling? What do we need to make this better? And then there's got to be one of these points that can help.
Absolutely.
Till next time, baby.
We wish you what we have.
Yeah, baby.
If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please hit subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on whichever platform you're tuning in from.
It means the world to us to have your support on our show in this little mini way.
You can also stalk us on Instagram and Head Over Heels Show for more juicy stuff.
If you have any questions, send them via email at us@hohshow.com or DM us on socials.
Thank you for having us between your ears. And as always, we wish you what we have.